Okay, so now we're going to finish up the pergola with the driving gate. These are the gate kits that I used. I just picked them up from Home Depot. These are all the items that come with it. Pretty much everything to make the gate except the 2x4s. So yeah, we just followed the directions on there. We got the center line. We just measured up from the ground to the 6-foot high picket. Got the center. And then 16 inches up from the center and 16 inches down from the center, we drilled a hole. Then we just screwed in the bolts that came with the kit. You want to get it started and then kind of use a wrench to get it in there. Make sure you use a good wrench. This one bent super easily, so I had to go get one of my old wrenches.
Doesn't bend. Sears old school. Little vintage, little throwback here.
This actually works.
Get that thing twisted into that. This is gonna take some elbow grease, guys, so make sure you have your Wheaties that morning. And you basically want to make sure you leave that it's an inch away from the beam, or as close to an inch as possible. This is where your gate hinges are going to latch onto. You can see. Open, close.
Then you just want to lay out the metal frames from the kit and attach your 2x4s. We just used a planer to get a little bit of excess off the very ends of the 2x4s, just so they would fit better in the metal. You get the measurements of the 2x4s just by the width you want your gate. So since this is a driving gate, we had two of the same size. And that's pretty much it. We just picked it up and hung it on that hinge. Tighten them so they're even. And now we have working gates. Next step is we're going to put pickets all the way across to make it blend in with the fence. Okay, so back to the pergola. In order to kind of get these beams more secure and so that they don't like bow in from the weather and everything, we're going to put 2x4s in between the beams and secure them with screws from each side. We're going to put one 2x4 on top and then one 2x4 on the bottom, just to make sure these beams don't bend at all. With, you know, the Florida humidity and everything. There is a lot of going up and down the ladder. At this point, it was a good workout. Lots of climbing the ladder. Became a pro at it. So after that was done, you get up there, you got to measure for each cross beam that goes across. So you'll want to take the exact measurement from one edge to the other edge. And that is going to be where we begin the notch. And then we'll want to add 30 inches to that measurement because we're going to have a 15-inch overhang on each side. So the measurement from one edge of the beam to the other, add 30 inches. That will be the measurement. Then I have this just kind of template of how the edges of all the beams are going to look. So I'll just put it on top of the beam that we cut. Gonna draw a line and just cut that off with a circular saw. Then we want to measure the width between the two beams because that's the width of the notch. And the depth of the notch is really up to you. I just went with 1.5 inches. So you just draw that line. You start at 15 inches, go in the width of those beams, up 1.5 inches, and then just cut that notch out with a jigsaw. Once both sides are done, then you have to get those beams up there. Some of these were super heavy, some of them weren't, just depends on kind of how wet they are. But the nice thing about having the beams up there, you can kind of use it as leverage. So you get one end of it onto the beam, and then you can kind of lay it up there and get the notches on. Okay, so we have the two ends on. Next we're gonna figure out where the exact middle is. Make a mark there and basically just measure out and see the spacing. We wanna make sure there's an even amount of beams going across and they're evenly spaced. This is definitely the hardest part, measuring every single beam and then determining the distances. So you're going to want to spend a lot of time on this. Measure each one out, kind of lay them up there, and determine the layout visually. Because, I mean, that's the most important thing. They might not be perfectly evenly spaced, but you want to make sure it looks good. So this is going to be a lot of work, a lot of moving, a lot of adjusting. So the wood going across, besides just the notches, we're also going to use these straps. Just got these at Home Depot, attaching one to each end. Also, because we have the 2x4s in between the beams, we're also going to put screws up from those 2x4s into the beams. A couple screws on each one, on each side. And also with the posts, we're attaching the structural beams to the posts with these lag bolts. Just putting 4 on each side. So I'm showing you here our original drawing, our original plan, and kind of what we started with and what it looks like now. This one was pretty difficult, but it was fun. It really adds so much. We still have a little bit of trim to do. We're going to trim the top out like that other part of the fence there. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. See you next time.